Hey guys, Mystellianne here. So recently Kamani came out with the new emergency ban list and everyone has been talking about it. I was going to make a video about my reaction to this ban list adjustment, but I really did not want to get sued by the Fine Bros, so I decided to just make this instead. Anyway, all 6 cards that were hit on the recent list adjustment severely limit Pepe's consistency and the amount of power plays the deck can make overall. While sitting on a board with like Dinosaur Powerful and Traptrix Rafflesia may be pretty good, it's still not nearly as powerful as sitting on a Dinosaur and an Infinity. That being said, the deck can still survive using variants like the Magician Pendulums and stuff like that, but nevertheless the meta is still open for a lot of other decks to compete with this ban list being announced. While the new format has not settled yet completely because it's only been 2 days as the recording of this video, these are my top contenders for the best decks of the 2016 February 2016 format. Number 10s, DDDs. A lot of people see this deck as underrated, but it can actually OTK really quickly using the 2 slime cards that it has. I think it's like Necro Slime and like something else slime, Swirl Slime I think. I don't really want to explain how the deck works and all because it's pretty complicated. But let's just say that opening 1 of each slime gets you 2 20-100 beaters that both have the effect to gain life points instead of losing it. Like whenever you lose it, you gain it instead. Which is pretty cool because it spells. You pay 1,000 every turn for their effects, and so you basically be gaining 2,000 every turn because you have 2 of them on the field. So you can rack up life points pretty quickly with this, and you can do some serious damage. I believe that's 5,600 life points just with those 2 cards, not counting any other cards you guys might get. Sorry if you guys can hear like a dog in the background. I can't really control that one. But yeah, DDs are pretty consistent. What with all its contract spell cards that we search. And let me tell you, once they get their structure deck, which yes, it's already confirmed for the TCG, this deck is going to be pretty powerful, and it's going to be a pretty good force to deal with, or to reckon with. Number 9, Teller Knights. A year and a half after their initial release, Tellers is still an amazing deck to be playing competitively, regionals, locals, whatever. While the ban list did hurt Tellers pretty badly by banning Ptolemaeus, and by extension banning Cyber Dragon and Infinity, the deck's ability to make first turn plays and stop decks like Pepe from going off is pretty stunted. Nonetheless, though, Triverdot deck is still pretty viable by itself. It can still make its rank 4s, trap plays, stuff like that. Yeah, so number 8, Magispectors. The deck that can start the duel like a god is still pretty good this format, even though it's been outclassed by a couple decks. While it has been overshadowed by other Pendulum-based decks like Magicians, Pepe, before it got destroyed, the deck is still very much viable for competitive play. The only thing these little things need to watch out for is Fog King and Master of Restrict, because Monarchs are also a thing in the TCG, and since a lot of people are playing Monarchs, a lot of people are siding against them. And by extension, that hurts Magispectors as well, even if they're not specifically for Magispectors. So yeah, that's number 8. Number 7 is Heroes. Now, I put Heroes higher than Tellers and Magispectors on this list, because in the grand scheme of things, nothing can really compare to the sheer amount of power that Dark Law puts out for you. Even when Ring 4 exceeds spam and tributing is no longer a thing because of new mechanics, deck searching will always be a part of this game because you need it to get to your combos, and Heroes are one of the perfect decks to counter because of Dark Law. Believe it or not, the deck has a lot of other power plays besides Dark Law, and the banning of Cyber Dragon and Infinity really does not affect that deck, or this deck, nearly as much as it affects a deck like Tellers, because Heroes don't really need to go into rank 4s all that much. While yes, having access to cards like Castell and Abyss Dweller is helpful, again, the deck's main play is to go into Dark Law or Anki or Acid, those fusions. Moving on to number 6, Inferno Ins. The struggle of not being able to use reasoning because of Cyber Dragon Infinity is now over after like 3 weeks. Well, it's mostly over unless you're playing against these guys. The most broken card in the deck is now once again playable, and Inferno Ins are back in the game. The ability to go into powerful synchros, for example, Cyframe Lord Omega, coupled with its daunting big monsters, like with effects longer than a freaking Harry Potter book, is still a great option. And this card named Left Arm Offering, it came out in like the Millennium Pack. See, my voice is, I don't even know what's wrong with it. It came out in the Millennium Pack in Japan, I think in like December. So if we ever get that card in the TCG, basically what it does is you discard your entire hand and you add any spell card from your deck to your hand. So if your mind hasn't already reached to reasoning, so basically what you would do, discard your entire Infernoid monster hand, grab Reasoning, proceed to go ham. So yeah, it will hopefully be introduced to the TCG soon, and it can make a handful of Infernoids into a graveyard full of Infernoids, and then, you know, a Reasoning. And you can do that faster than you can Sam with Scrub, which you can say that pretty fast. So moving on, number 5, Burning Abyss. I made the mistake of selling this deck back in November, although I do like Monarchs better, because that's what I'm playing now. But these, since Fiendish Rhino Warrior was released, the deck got a whole lot better. Especially since Pip are now out of the top spot. Well, I mean, until everything settles down, that's what I would consider it, out of the top spot. The new XC Spam deck is an oldie from when Tellers came out, back in, like, August of 2014. While the deck may struggle to deal with decks like Monarchs and their anti-Yu-Gi-Oh! Field Spell, it's still a great deck to take up, especially if you're on a budget. I believe the only expensive card is Dante, the original ones from Duelist Alliance. Those are like 40 or something, but the ones for the Mega Pack are only 15, so you won't be spending too much money. Number 4, Atlantean Mermils, or Atlanteans, or Netabissa deck, whatever you want to call it. While this deck isn't exactly new, it still has more combo plays than the names you can call it. While this deck does have a lot of different variants, some using purely Atlanteans, others can put in a full suite of Mermils, like 3 Megalo, maybe 2 Teus, maybe 3 Teus, Pike, what's the other one, Turge, Gund, all those stuff, card things. Some even playing Undyne and Controller still, and some even with Double Summon. I've seen a few of those. They all aim to combo you right in the Rescue Cat, and is definitely consistent as well. Opening with Netabissa and a few discard targets for it is practically one card OTK on its own. It's pretty crazy. But moving on from that, we have number 3, Pendulum Magicians, or what remains of them. Good grades at this deck get hit hard. Plush Fire Band, Damage Juggler Band, Telemace Band, Joker at 1, Luster at 1, Monkey Keyboard at 1, CDI virtually unplayable, unless you want to play these guys. While the deck may still recover and survive with its variants like Magicians or Odd Eyes or whatever you want to use in it, the deck will never be as powerful as it was for like 3 weeks that it was the best deck. It's too soon to tell for certain, but I don't think that they can reclaim the top tables anytime soon. This, coupled with the fact that it will be even harder for them to get around the Monarch Field Spell, not that they're less consistent, to me I would consider that too much for one deck to take. Number 2, Monarchs. Since January 29th when the structure deck came out, Monarchs have been tearing up the competitive scene. A super competitive deck that price is $30, and possibly a few extra cards like Regeki, is something that this game has not seen since Structure Deck Dragons Collide back a few years ago. You could argue that the Hero Structure Deck is similar, but that's another discussion for another day because it'll take another 10 minutes for me to discuss that. The point is, the ability to shut down your opponent's extra deck and monster effects and special summons if you play Majesty's and Vanity's Fiend is always an awesome thing to do, or to have in your arsenal. But the amazing support that this deck has with Pantheism and March and all that stuff is a dream come true for a lot of people. And then once Wing Raiders hits the shelves in about 2 days as the recording of this video, the Super Quantums will also help consistency wise. I feel like the only deck that could top this is number 1, Cosmos. I mean, if it wasn't obvious, it was pretty inevitable. Komani wanted them to reign as king a little longer, and that pretty much happened. There's no doubt that this deck has reclaimed the throne from the pre-Master of Pendulum Structure Deck era, back in like November. With Dark Destroyer being as powerful and not to mention expensive as ever, Cosmo can really shine the next month or two until the next actual ban list comes down. And who knows, maybe it might get touched, or it will not possibly get touched then either. We can't really find out until then, but the facts remain, Cosmos are still a thing in the meta, and possibly the best thing. Anyway, that does it for the top 10 decks, in my opinion, of the new February 2016 format. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know whether or not you guys agree with my picks. And if you don't, what are your picks? Let me know in the comments section down below. Remember, make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more content. Peace, guys.